You might have heard a fancy new buzzword that's flying around the tech world.
Welcome to the Metaverse. For decades, it's been the stuff of science fiction.
It's called the Metaverse, and it's being referred to as the future of the internet.
And tech companies like Facebook are bullish on the concept of the metaverse. In fact, the term was repeated 20 times in an hour-long earnings call that included Facebook executives, analysts, and investors. And Facebook and its CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, aren't only talking about the metaverse, they're betting their future on it.
To reflect who we are and what we hope to build, I am proud to announce that starting today, our company is now Meta.
Facebook's investment has brought massive attention to a group of companies that are putting big money into virtual worlds that will take you from this to something more like this. To understand why Facebook and a number of tech companies are so eager to invest billions to plant their digital flag, let's first define what the metaverse is and isn't. The broadest definition of the metaverse refers to a shared virtual 3D world or worlds that are interactive, immersive, and collaborative. The term comes from the 1992 Neil Stephenson novel Snow Crash and was reimagined as the Oasis in the popular science fiction book turned movie Ready Player One.
This is the Oasis. It's a place where the limits of reality are your own imagination.
Matthew Ball, a venture capitalist and one of the earliest advocates of the metaverse, says that you shouldn't think of it as just virtual reality, but as a framework for an extremely connected life that lets user avatars travel seamlessly between different worlds and activities.
The best example I've heard of the metaverse, it's kind of a real world example, was Google Maps. And this is it sounds kind of strange, but it's got all the elements that you would look for in a metaverse. There's connections to the real world and in the digital world.
We brought IBD reporter Patrick Seitz into the virtual world, which is fun because I can make him dance like this, to discuss the race among big tech firms like Facebook to build the metaverse.
Facebook says they want to be a metaverse company. That's their goal. And certainly they've poured a lot of money and resources into virtual reality.
Executives like Zuckerberg are eager to carve out their corner of the metaverse to capture its potential for social connection, entertainment, and most importantly, big money.
They have this future carved out, and whether or not people will accept their version of the metaverse remains to be seen.
Facebook's foray into the metaverse goes back almost a decade to 2014 when they acquired the virtual reality startup Oculus for $2 billion. And in July, Zuckerberg took to the airwaves of CBS to unveil a new virtual reality product.
So today we're announcing a new service called Workrooms. It's basically a virtual reality service for collaborating together and doing work.
Now, for elder millennials like myself, the look and feel of Facebook's early metaverse may remind you of something.
Second Life is an endless garden of creativity.
Second Life is kind of a cautionary tale in terms of hype. That was about almost 20 years ago now, and it was on magazine covers and had breathless newspaper articles saying, you know, you're going to have a second life online, and you've got your first life in the real world, but that's really boring. On Second Life, you can be, you know, a superhero, you can be anything, and you just get your avatar and you go in there. People experimented with it, they checked it out, but it never lived up to the hype. So that didn't become the big deal everyone thought it was going to be. And now we're seeing that again, especially after the Facebook demonstration of their Horizon Workrooms. That really looks Second Life-y to me.
Developing the technology to create a visually compelling 3D world for consumers is one thing, but extracting profit from the metaverse is a whole other challenge.
Well, all these companies are approaching the metaverse from wherever their strength is. Now, obviously, gaming companies, they want to have these immersive environments in a virtual reality setting for not only games, but also, you know, virtual concerts, meeting up rooms, things like that. Whereas Facebook is taking it from the social networking side, but the game application seems to be what's capturing most people's attention right now.
For gaming fans, the metaverse isn't a new concept. Millions have traversed the worlds of games like Roblox or Epic Games' Fortnite. These gaming developers see themselves at the forefront of creating and profiting from the metaverse. Even big stars have seen the potential of jumping from the physical realm into the digital one.
Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing.
That's rapper Lil Nas X performing his hit Old Town Road in a virtual concert on the Roblox gaming platform. Nearly 33 million people attended the two-day event.
Down cross town, living like a rock star, spend a lot of money on my brand new guitar.
Not only can these virtual spaces sell tickets, but they can generate a lot of revenue for merchandise and other product add-ons. Roblox reportedly netted 8 figures just on merch sales for the weekend concert alone. But the success of this strategy relies on interoperability, or making sure that each company's metaverse is actually linking up to each other seamlessly in one digital world.
What you're seeing with these current metaverses, as they're described, are walled gardens. They're businesses that don't want to connect to the outside world. They want to keep everything in their little world. So in order to get to the big overarching metaverse, we're going to have all these companies. They're going to have to cooperate. Just like in the early days of the internet, they're going to have to cooperate and come up with standards.
So what's the best way for investors to play this emerging space?
It's really hard for investors to look at something like the metaverse and make a play on it. Roundhill Investments created a metaverse ETF, and their top holding is NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA is providing building block technology. They'll have the graphics processors that could run these virtual worlds. So that makes sense that they would be an investment play on the metaverse. I mean, it goes back to the picks and shovels, the companies that benefited in the gold rush were the companies that sold the picks and shovels. And so we're having that again with NVIDIA. They're selling the picks and shovels of the metaverse. But investors always have to stay away from hype, though. They have to see when these companies are actually selling something and getting sales from the hype.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much for your time today.
Well, I appreciate it.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching Investors Business Daily on YouTube. If you want to watch more videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.